Hey everyone, welcome back. When you are going to receive data from the user, of course we are going to validate that. So we make sure all the data that's coming, that's being processed in the Azure functions and then stored in the Azure Cosmos DB is in a valid state. So the library, I'm sure that you have already heard about that, which is FluentValidation. This is the NuGet package, or one of the best actually libraries for validations available for .NET, and it is a very powerful mechanism actually for validation. And as the name says, it is actually Fluent. Let's see an example in their main page. So over here, you can define, like for example, they show a customer validator to validate the customer object. And as you can see, you define the validations in a Fluent mechanism, just like speaking. So you say rule for the surname and it's not empty, and then rule for the forename or first name. It's not empty with the message in case it's invalid. And you can combine multiple. You can do some like not equal, this discount shouldn't be equal to 0 when there is a discount. So apply this validation only if this condition is true, and you can do much more than that. So we are going to use this library to basically implement the validations. The validations that we have are going to be stored in the shared project. The shared project, we already have a folder called validators. We are going to put them there. So why I'm going to put them in the shared if they are going to be used in the Azure functions? Actually, those are going to be used in the Azure functions plus on the client side, which is .NET MAUI or the Blazor side of things. So those validators we are going to use them also to make validations client side. So we show the user what's wrong and he fixes it before we submit the data to the server and then return an error. So to get started, the first thing that we should do is go to manage NuGet packages of the shared and search for Fluent Validation. Fluent, you should directly see it, Fluent Validation, here we go, and we install that. So that's okay, good. So right now, after we installed it, we have in the DTOs folder, we have the wallet DTO. This is the one that we are going to receive from the user when he submits this data to the server, correct? So some majority of the elements are nullable, but because we want the user experience to be simple, we don't need like the user to enter every single details, but additional details are like good in this case. So we are not going to validate everything. So over here, we are going to open validators, and I'll hit Shift F2 and we'll install, we'll create a wallet DTO validator. I will call it wallet DTO validator as just a convention to name our validators with the name of the DTO that you are actually validating. And then we'll hit add file. So again, this is the extension that's called add a new file in case you missed any of the videos. Add a new file. This is a powerful extension that allows you to add files super easily by just hitting Shift F2 on the folder. You can add multiple files, or it has a lot of cool features to simplify your process. So right now, you should inherit from abstract validator, like that. Control dot, and add using Fluent Validation, like this. And then you define the object that you are validating, which is wallet DTO. Okay, here we go. So right now we have validation. So we can define the rules in the constructor of this. So let's create a constructor. Here we go. And the most important thing is rule for, it's a rule for the name. The name should be not empty. Not empty means it's not null and it contains, it's not an empty string, okay? So here we have, this is annoying a little bit. Okay, here we go, that's better. And then we say with message, name is required. As simple as that. And we need to add maximum length. We don't need the name also to be too long, so we need it 100 maximum. We say message name must be 100 less than, okay, 100 characters. Okay, so we have defined a rule for the name, which is mostly this is the most important thing that we actually need. There is a lot of powerful features that we can use for the for the validators and Fluent Validation. We're going to cover all of them, but as I've always said, wallets are simple concept. The complicated concept is going to be in the transactions, where we're going to see more powerful stuff. So, but now this is a good beginning. If you are developing your own project, you can discover what is there basically. So here, okay, creation date. This is a read-only property. Will come to the client. Swift, for example, IBAN. Balance also will come from the server. The user cannot set it. Currency. Okay, the currency, for example, the currency should always be, okay, look at that. I like GitHub Copilot. Max length. It should be 3 characters only, because we are going to use the international code like EUR for euro or USD for US dollars. And here we're going to say with message, currency must be 3 characters length. We have maximum length because we need it to be 3 actually, not only 3. So we have length okay, we can define length validator on the current rule builder. Yeah, we can say it's 3 exact length. Okay, here we go. So if we define length dot 3, so this means it has to be 3. So currency must be 3 characters length, because like for example USD, Euro, AD, etc. etc. This is the currency. Let's see what we have as well that we need to validate. We don't need the Swift, for example, as well. This one, actually the currency, yeah, this is important. The currency is not null. We need the currency to be not null, because we are going to group the transaction based on the currency itself. For the Swift, we don't care if the user added or not, but we don't need the length to be more, I don't know actually the rules of the banking data, but I don't think it's more than 12. So for now, let's add it like that with message, and or let me go to Google. Swift code length 8 to 11 characters. Okay, so we will say length 8 to 12 with a message. Before we define the message, we should say when string is null or white space b.swift. So what does this mean? So this means don't apply this rule until Swift is not null. If it's null or empty, don't take that into consideration basically. And then we say a message, Swift must be between 8 and 11 characters. Good. Same for IBAN. Length. We need our data to be okay, not the IBAN of the UAE. Okay, up to 34 alphanumeric characters. Okay, so let's do maximum length. Maximum length. We are not going to validate the minimum. Of course, you can use regular expressions to validate the data 100% correctly, but as we have said, name and currency is the most important thing, and the type. Other than that, we don't basically care about those. Those are just kind of metadata for like storage or helping the user to find them easier, but it's not required. Of course, again, if the IBAN is not null, but if it's null, we don't care. With message, IBAN must be less than 35 characters. There we go. So we have defined the rules of the wallet validator. It's as simple as that. In the next video, when you are implementing the function, you're going to see how we are going to basically call the validate. So right now, that's good. We have done everything that we need. We've created the validator of our first data. Right now, let's close this. And The next step is to basically register those in the dependency injection container of our Azure functions. So what we will do is add project reference. Okay, we don't need an add a project reference because I think the shared project is already here. Brilliant. So right now we need to add the dependency injection extensions of the validator. So what we can do is we can say Fluent validation dot dependency injection extension. So if we install, okay, good. Let's not show that one more time. Good. One thing is when we want to register those, basically, like when we want to register this data over here, we can basically say we can register them one by one, like every validator with its parent class. But we are not going to do that. What we are going to do is Fluent Validation already provides us with a mechanism to register all the validators for us automatically for the wallet DTO and for the other one that we are going to create. But one thing, I will keep the dependency injection part available only for the validators only in the shared project. So I'm going to shift F12 and create dependency injection extensions. And over here, let's use the new model. I will make it a static because it's going to be a static method. And here, public static void add validators like that. And here we say iService collection. Okay, we need to install the package Microsoft extension dependency injection abstraction. Okay, done, and this is the services. So right now this object, which is responsible to register the services in the DI container, will be extended by the add validators whenever we add this using namespace in the other projects. And what we have to do is to say services.add validators or add automatically from assembly containing. Okay, let's also install. I think I've installed the dependency injection in the wrong place. I don't know why I've done that, but it's okay. Fluent validation, dependency injection extensions. Very good. And over here, let's add using Fluent validation. Okay, add validators from assembly containing. So we need to define what assembly is it. Okay. So over here we define the wallet DTO validator. So what does this function actually does? It says in the assembly that containing any class that you want from the assembly, you are going to say the wallet DTO validator because it is in the shared project. So go for that assembly, scan it for all the validators available and register them. So this is what it does. So why I put that over here if it's a one line and not put it in the Azure functions? Because this is the work of the shared. We don't need the Fluent validation to the Azure functions to be responsible into doing some work related to the shared project. So all what we can do right now, we can do this startup.cs, and over here we can say builder.services add validators. By just doing that, we should be good. If we add using, so right now the iService collection has been expanded with this one, and right now we have actually we have our validator registered, and using this function they will be registered automatically. This is the automatic way. If you want to register them one by one, you can do like that. For example, add scope iValidator, and then you define the type wallet DTO, and then you say wallet DTO validator. So this is the base of, because if you go back for this one, this is what our validator class inherits from this one, and the parent of this one is, if we go, it's of type iValidator of the type T, which means the parent is iValidator of type wallet DTO. So this is how you can register them one by one in the manual way. We don't need it, but I will keep it for you in case. Manual way. Okay, very good. So right now we are ready to start doing the validation by calling the validate function. This is all what we have to do actually for the session. In the next one, we're going to create the function and use this validation to return errors in case there is any. So thank you so much everyone for watching, and see you in the next video.